Democrats in the Texas House are blocking legislation that would keep violent criminals behind bars. This is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State. The Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Well, thanks for spending part of your Tuesday with the Texas Minute. I hope you and yours had a nice observance of Memorial Day and are now ready to tackle the week ahead. Let's get to the news. Even as state lawmakers consider measures to combat a crisis of sexual abuse by school staff, the number of Texas teachers charged with sex crimes continues to grow. Charges have ranged from sexually abusing students to grooming them through social media. In 2025, the epidemic of abuse has not only continued but appears to be escalating, with multiple suspects arrested each week as others are allowed to quietly resign. While the bad apples represent a tiny fraction of Texas educators, critics say the system is still failing to protect children from predators inside Texas's schools. A measure aimed at keeping violent offenders behind bars is stalled in the Texas House after Democrats refuse to provide the votes needed to meet the state's constitutional threshold. The legislation is known as Jocelyn's Law in honor of Jocelyn, the young girl who was brutally murdered in Houston last year by two illegal aliens. The law received support yesterday from a majority of House members, but it failed to reach the two-thirds votes required to place a constitutional amendment on the ballot because Democrats are refusing to back it. An investigation by Texas Scorecard finds that numerous academic entities operating under the auspices of the University of Texas at Austin are actually engaged in pro-abortion activities. Records reveal a well-known abortion advocate is running a fund at the law school, and two academic subdivisions have released overtly pro-abortion academic research. For example, the Reproductive Justice Defense Project at UT Law describes itself, quote, as a hub for state, national, international academic research and advocacy for a variety of pro-abortion causes. Meanwhile, the Population Research Center at the College of Liberal Arts recently published an article that claimed that the drug misoprostol, quote, has a high rate of effectiveness and a low rate of serious adverse events when used to induce abortions. That claim, though, has been refuted even by abortion proponents. Also at UT is the Texas Policy Evaluation Project, which has argued that pro-life laws passed in Texas forebode, quote, a dangerous future. The Texas Minute will be right back.
Hey there, it's Chris Salcedo. Join me weekdays at 9 o'clock in the morning on the Salcedo Storm podcast. The Salcedo Storm is your go-to source for all things national, state, and cultural news, plus some insightful interviews to keep you in the know.
Controversial legislation to provide hundreds of millions in taxpayer-funded incentives to the film industry was passed out of the Texas House yesterday, despite opposition from some conservative lawmakers who called it a, quote, Hollywood handout. Supporters are framing it as a way to boost economic development and bring high-profile productions to Texas. The House sponsor was Republican State Representative Todd Hunter of Corpus Christi. He described the measure as a, quote, guardrail program. The legislation gives broad discretion to the governor's office to approve or deny applications based on content. For example, the program expressly bars support for projects that portray Texas or Texans negatively or that contain obscene or politically charged content. Reimbursements to filmmakers are not made until after the project is released, ostensibly giving the state more control over the productions. Senate Bill 22 has been a priority of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Originally, SB 22 was slated to spend up to $500 million per biennium for 10 years. An amendment was added in the House, though, to cap the program's cost at $300 million per biennium. The legislation now returns to the Senate, where lawmakers must approve the House changes before the session ends. You can find the details of all the stories mentioned today and keep up with the latest news by visiting TexasScorecard.com. If you enjoyed the Texas Minute, I hope you'll give us a rating on your podcast app. This edition of the Texas Minute was based on the original reporting of Aaron Anderson, Adam Kahn, and Brandon Waltons. Nick Shepard got today's show put together and delivered it to your ears. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Have a great day.